When I write about games, I always try to leave my personal opinions about the game at the door. However, when doing a pros and cons piece, that's pretty much impossible. What is a pro for you might not be a pro for me, and what is a con to me might not be a con to you. It's all about personal taste. And that's okay. Everyone is free to have their own opinion. So if you generally agree with my view on MMOs, then maybe you'll agree with my list. Or maybe you won't. And that's okay. Lots of people are fine with being wrong. So, let's talk the pros and cons of WildStar. We'll start with setting, as undoubtedly that's where the entire game takes place. WildStar has a sci-fi setting, which is a nice change of pace from the highly overused fantasy setting. Granted, sci-fi is probably the second most used setting, but hey, it's still fairly fresh. It's also a brand new IP, so we're not rehashing anything here. Carbine has managed to make this world very deep with a variety of races and a ton of lore. So let's throw this one in the pros pile, shall we? Let's take a look at combat, as that's a lot of what you'll be doing in the aforementioned setting. Opting for a hybrid mix of action and hotkey combat, WildStar should be able to appease fans of both types. Like action combat, you'll be doing a lot of dodging and moving, but luckily you don't have to mash your mouse button like a crazed teenager trying to win that last pair of tickets for NSYNC. They're still popular, right? I don't really keep up with the music scene. Actually, I said that like I care. I don't. Most attacks are done in an area of effect style, including healing and stuns. Because of this, a lot of combat involves taking on groups of enemies rather than one-on-one. Don't get me wrong, you'll be doing both. I just found it a lot easier to take on loads of enemies seeing as my attacks hit multiple monsters anyway. Plus, you get to hear this. Double kill. That's just cool. You do have a limited number of hotkeys, meaning you have to pick your skills carefully and design builds for different situations. On the upside, you'll have to put some thought into which skills you want to use when grouping or PvPing, and it also gets rid of those massively cluttered screens. But it can feel slightly limiting. I'm pretty okay with it though, and seeing as I'm not a huge fan of overly clicky combat, and I also feel that standard hotkey combat has gotten a bit stale, I'm going with pro. Speaking of skills, a lot of my skills sound like I'm making dubstep. This is probably the other thing you'll be doing the most of in WildStar. Quests are given from people with exclamation points over their head. Original. You know, just for once, I'd like to see a developer give some love to the highly underutilized tilde. You're then presented with some text that you have to click through to get your quest. Reading optional. I like to call this chunk of text questing. While this is pretty standard for the industry, I was rather disappointed to find a lack of voice acting. A few quests had some voice acting involved, mainly the storyline driven ones, but your normal kill quest is not accompanied with one. Some people find voice acting to be a bad thing and others find it good. I can see both. Voice acting takes time, and some people don't want to have to listen to someone prattle on about killing 10 wolves. But reading about killing 10 wolves can take just as long, and is also a little bit less immersive depending on how much you like reading. With such an immersive setting, I feel like this was a missed opportunity on Carbine's part, and that this decision is a flaw in WildStar's armor. I'm throwing this one into the con pile. I'm putting this one separate from questing. Why? Because paths are pretty damn cool. Giving every character some extra tasks to do that are tailored to their liking is a great freaking idea. Whether it's a soldier, settler, scientist, or explorer, you should be able to find one that appeals more to your playstyle. And as you level up your path, you'll also gain some special skills that can help you in your path, or just in general. I went with Explorer, because I like adventure. But I'm also really lazy. Some of these quests are really far away. I don't know why I picked this one. I think now is also a good time to mention that I feel like I'm in Back to the Future. Or maybe I'm a futuristic Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. Either way. These are little quests that pop up around the world that can give you some excellent loot. They're sometimes fun and sometimes not. But overall, they're a great idea and give you somewhat of an incentive to explore. If you like challenge, that is. Maybe you don't. I don't know. I don't know you. But I'd like to. This newly announced feature, adventures are pretty flippin' cool. Allowing for missions that have different paths and objectives, it's almost like a dungeon, but not. I mean, it has bosses and such, but it's different. They're damn fun. I ran the first level 15 adventure with a random team of 5. This was my first real jump into group content, and it was an interesting experience. There were a ton of really intense battles, some of which we actually lost, causing us to go back and talk strategy before going back in. Naturally, I didn't listen and just spam healed. Because that's how you heal, everybody. I don't do PvP, but some people do. And WildStar has it. So, yeah. PvP. At the moment, character creation is a bit limited. You pick one of 2 factions, one of 4 races, and one of 6 pretty cool classes. You can then pick faces, hair, and some other physical traits. But currently, you're unable to change certain things like your height or weight. However, there is word that they're introducing a bust size slider for their female characters. So that's nice. But my question is, will this apply to male characters as well? I want moobs, damn it! And until I know this, I'm putting this in the meh pile. WildStar has it, and with the plethora of MMOs that don't have it, player housing is never a bad thing. Let's tally up the list. 9 pros, 1 con, and 1 meh. Well, it seems WildStar is an overall pro, at least for me. Maybe you don't like the same things I do, and that's okay. Feel free to let me know in the comments below, and I'll make sure not to read them. WildStar has really taken a lot of the best features from MMOs over the past decade and combined them into something very interesting. I am really looking forward to being able to share more of my adventures with y'all as the months progress. And I'll leave you with this. Let's dubstep!